this is obviously a super bittersweet moment with everything that's kind of gone on over the years with Samantha and I starting the truck team back in 2010 and having this dream and it becoming a reality, and all that's due to the great men and women, everybody that's walked through the doors at KBM, that's put in their heart and soul to building that place to what it's been and the successful organization of what it's been to today. So, I couldn't be happier with the way that the business has gone, and 100 wins and 18 different winners and drivers that have come through there that have now made it to the Xfinity or Cup Series level, and it's just been a real dream come true for me and for KBM and for our family. So I just feel like I haven't been able to give it as much of my devoted attention as it needs, and being around as much with Brexton racing and family stuff and me racing and trying to focus on that and being with the Cup team and things. And so, there's some conversations that kind of happened with the crew chiefs and whatnot that just kind of made me start thinking about it. And then Crazy over here showed up at the door, and we had a conversation, and it just kind of all turn of events happened really, really fast. So excited about the future of it, and kind of here to announce also that I will still be involved with Spire Motorsports on the Truck Series level and still be a consultant, also still run my 5 Truck Series races with our amazing partners at Zuri's Transport, and continue to work on their B2B efforts and angles in our sport to continue to drive their business forward. And so it'll be, still worthwhile for me to see that team succeed with all the people and everything that we've had there for over the years. And I'm excited about those that'll stay, and, getting a key fob that turns off at 6 p.m.
Hey, Spencer, catchfence.com. I never heard Jeff referred to as a unicorn before, but I'm glad you found him.
They do exist.
When you look at what you've been doing with Brexton and the time it takes, and I'm sure Jeff can understand that because he comes from a dirt track background too. I mean, will this give you ample time not to feel as guilty when you're at the dirt track and, just helping him do his career and doing your day job at RCR?
Yeah, sure. I would agree with that. This isn't the end or the shutdown of KBM. KBM doesn't cease to exist. It still exists. We just now race an 8-year-old at the grassroots level. So I guess the logo can still carry on the shirts and his fire suit and everything else. It just won't be as prominent or at all on the Truck Series efforts. But certainly with being around and traveling and going through the Midwest Swing, for instance, I think we raced 12 races in 15 days or something up there. So, it's a lot, and that's a lot of time away from both aspects. But, there's only so much time in a day and only so much of Kyle that can accomplish everything.
All right, Bob?
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. I had a couple for Jeff. First, announcement a couple of weeks ago about you spending a lot of money on charter. And then this purchase, how are you guys, do you have an investor, or how are you doing it financially?
Here's what I hear. It's not about the transaction or the structure. I think what you're asking is, are you guys for real, right? Or something must be going on behind the, the scenes there. I'd say TJ and I's names are on the check. And, well, Jenna, as you know in your article, I think you described us as pivotal and have done a lot of these deals. And so from the first time that we, announced the deal when we did the 78, I'm all for skepticism, right? I think some of it's healthy. But I don't know how many more of these deals we have to do before people know we're for real.
And you have this alliance with Trackhouse with their driver, and yet you have a Hendrick relationship. They have a RCR, ECR relationship. So what relationship are you next year?
Yeah, so thanks for that, Bob. So our relationship with Hendrick continues. So we're still a Hendrick. We have our technical alliance with them. All of our engines will be through there. The third car's engines will be through there. Just as a quick note, I don't know there's been anybody, certainly in my NASCAR career, and I mean for both of us in a way, right? Than Mr. Hendrick, you know, and his support from the very beginning. He's you know, he's always you know, kind of treated me like his, you know, illegitimate son, right? I mean, he's always been there to kind of like push me and answer the phones, and any dumb idea that I have, he's right there to you know, show me that there's a way through those things. So that doesn't stop. You know, ultimately, where the rubber meets the road on our Cup program next year, it'll look similar to you know, what we have now. Pit crews, at least on 2 of the cars, pit crews will be through there. Technical data will be through there, and you know, as far as we're concerned, the show goes on with Hendrick.
All right, Jenna.
Jenna Fryer, Associated Press. Both my questions are for Jeff.
Welcome to the club.
Just following up off of your "you guys are real." The first question is the $40 million figure real?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but I'll talk about that. What's kind of been reported. Again, and I don't mean to riff off of what you know, kind of my tone to Bob, but it's just like, I'm not sure. Like, we're a major league sport. You know, we've been around for 75 years. You know, we portray ourselves to corporate America like we're major league, and we are major league. So I don't. That number that's been I guess reported is I don't know why it's such a, you know, why it's such a shock. Right. I think for us, we think that,
the sport.
huh?
It's great for the sport.
Yeah, no, it's great for the sport. I think that,
It's value.
yeah, we still have a ways to go. You know, like we're major league. You know, I don't know why. And Jen, not that this is about your question specifically, right? But it's just like the tone of it. It's like a major league sport with minor league question. You know what I mean? Like this is a real deal. So I hope it's 400 million, right? So.
And then you keep saying you guys are real. Like, what do you envision Spire becoming?
I don't know what else. You know, I mean, I just think like from, you know, it feels like it just feels like we're always trying to prove something. You know, like, hey, what's going on? Or hey, where's this really? You know, like what's this coming from? Or like when we first did the '78 deal, everybody was just like, oh my God, what's happening? Which us too. When we did the '78, it was us too. But you know, real for us is we want to be a playoff car. We want to be winners. You know, we want to. You know, it just feels like we're just trying to break out of that mold where everybody's just like, oh man, are you guys even trying? Or, you know, and it's we've made significant strides. You know, I mean, even before, you know, this and what we've done this summer. I mean, like we're you know, we're doing it. And I was talking with somebody back there in the garage, back where we were parked this week, and I was just like, you know, I think everybody stepped up their game, but so has everybody else, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's not even something that you can see. Maybe it's just the way that you're kind of like perceived and talked about. But you know, I think we're making strides. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, Bristol was pretty decent for us till it wasn't. But you know, I mean, we're legitimately leading laps, and it feels like with that 7 car, we're, you know, bouncing off all the guys. You know, a couple times we've got Kyle, you know, this year, right? So it's like we just want to be in the conversation where it's not a surprise that we're up there.
And Kyle, now that it's sort of winding down at the NASCAR national level, was your time and investment worth it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I feel like a lot of the personal relationships and things over the years, whether it's been Eric Phillips, Rick Wren, Rudy Fugle, all of that stuff, you know, Chris Gabehart's another one from our stable. But, you know, I think that we've had a great ride and a great run, and it's been worth it in a lot of sense. You know, I've had a lot of fun racing super late models, racing trucks, winning late models, winning trucks. I've got a storage facility now full, or needing to get one full of show cars and things, of past memories of stuff that I've accomplished, and cars that I've accomplished big wins in. So I would say yes.
Did you make any money?
Now, not per year.
Spire money.
All right, Jordan, go ahead.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. This question's for Kyle. You kind of talked about how the kind of progression to get to this point to wanting to sell. Has it been just this year? Or has it kind of been an ongoing thing as Braxton's been getting older and more involved in the racing thing, across the country, that the realization of this, you just don't have the bandwidth to continue to do this?
Yeah, no, I was. Look, we had a great deal this year with Chevrolet and with Rev Racing and Max and all the guys over there to carry on with Sanchez, and of course the Chase Purdy deal as well too. So we were set, we were fine, we were ready to go into next year. This all just kind of came about, I don't know, a month ago, maybe a couple months ago, where we started talking about forming an alliance and working on chassis and continuing to service them with Rowdy Manufacturing and things like that, and what that could look like, and trying to broaden the scope of that to all Chevy teams. And then I think it was his bright idea where he was like, why are you even doing this? Like, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just take it over? Why don't we just, and I'm like, okay, well, make it worth my while. So that's kind of how it happened. And it literally happened very, very quick. So time flew by and rumors flew fast. And then we obviously made our announcement this week.
All right, we're going to go to Dustin and then Holly up front. I know there's a lot of hands up. Just hang with me. We're going to get to as many people as we can. Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Jeff, you certainly made a lot of different moves over the last few years in growing the operation, but certainly with this one and with going after the Live Fast charter, those are bigger moves. Why are these happening now? In terms of wanting to, you talk about being real. Why weren't you guys doing this 2 years ago, especially like the Live Fast charter when things were so much cheaper? Why weren't you jumping in as opposed to when the prices were so much, relatively speaking, higher?
Well, I mean, I don't know how to answer that, Dustin. I mean, the market's the market, right?
Well, I mean, why?
Yeah. Why now?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's just timing, right? So, when our talks got serious, it was like, look, for us, as far as like where we're at in our plan, like we're probably a few months ahead of you guys, on what we're trying to do. Well, we can't run 3 out of our place right now. So, and we've looked at buildings all over the place. We've looked at, $3 million buildings and $50 million buildings. But that was the urgency to kind of like with Kyle, right? And what he's speaking to was we need space in Daytona's in February, right? And then on the charter, again, we think these things are still going this way, right? And we hope they are. And I think I don't think that's just from a team perspective. I think that's from a NASCAR perspective too. I think we all want that to happen, right? So again, that if the numbers are here, look, I think our banks are I think their fund meter is pegged with us, and so I think that before it gets up here, if TJ and I were going to try to take another crack at this, we had to, right? So again, I think I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm a believer, and sometimes decisions get made for you, and that's why all these things are kind of like happening, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Is it just you and TJ? Obviously, I know with Gamebridge coming in with Dan's involvement, and he's been very involved in motorsports, especially on the Andretti side. Mm-hmm. Are you guys still? Is it just you and TJ owners, or does Dan come in, or is anybody or any other minor owners?
Well, look, I don't want to minimize Gamebridge's involvement with us. I mean, obviously, it's a big deal for us, right? And like we were saying it in the moment, it's just like that Gamebridge deal on its own is big for us. To make it anything more than that, I get it. They're certainly making moves and making waves over there. But this is TJ and I's, and it'll continue to be.
Kyle, just for a track question, is with where you are in points, this type of wild card race, does it change anything? Obviously, I know you won here, so it's not like, you can do it again, but how do you approach this weekend? Does it change because of your positioning?
No, it doesn't change. I think you come in here stress meter pegged, regardless of whether you're 30 to the good or 30 to behind. We obviously know in our situation we're further behind, so you have to race. I think it's been more sought out to just race these races and run them normal and not hang out in the back and try to wait for something to happen, because with these cars and the way the race plays out, it's so hard to make moves and make passes and get yourself track position whenever you want it. You can't. So you've got to hold it when you got it, and if you don't have it, then you got to figure out how to fuel save so you can short pit guys and jump them on pit road. You know what I mean? So there's so many variables. You just got to race it out and don't worry about it. What happens, happens.
All right, go ahead.
Marshall Smith, Sanford University. So what will the acquisition look like for KBM employees, or will that be sorted out in the coming weeks?
Yeah, so that was a big talking point that Jeff and I had from the very beginning, was obviously the people. We went through this situation, say 14 months ago, of whether or not we were going to be a team, with my transition from, JGR Toyota over to RCR Chevrolet. So that same focal was brought up with Jeff, and not only does he need a building,
Yeah, we needed it.
he needs people.
Yeah.
So we've got a really, really great group of guys and girls that work at KBM, and they're a strong group, and they know how to build fast race trucks. And so do some of those get absorbed into cup programs? Possibly. Do some of those stay with the truck program? Possibly. But they all are safe if they want to be, and if they want to have a job, they talk to the Spire group, and they go through. They're already vetted, right? But they just go through the hiring process with a new organization.
All right, Shane. Oh, right behind you. There you go.
Shane Connick, the Charlotte Observer. Kyle, obviously, this news today or this past week with, selling your team at this point. What does it mean to you, though, to be able to stay around, involved in racing? Obviously, you're already a two-time Cup Series champion, still, in the playoffs at this point. But what does it mean to you to be able to be around and impact other drivers?
Yeah, I love it. Look, I've didn't necessarily start KBM, I guess, as sort of a fun venture for me to go run truck races, although it was. But back in that day, you could run as many as you wanted, and the last few years you can only run 5. So, my involvement has been limited, I guess you'd say, just not being able to run as much as I'd like, but still being there and being with the kids that have come through there, whether it's been Eric Jones, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, you name them. We've worked with them, and I've worked with them and coached them and talked to them. And I remember Suarez, it was like literally every Thursday at 2 o'clock, he must have had an alarm set. He would call me, hey man, we're going so-and-so this weekend. What can you tell me? So it was really, really fun to help those guys and get those guys to where they are. Obviously they've got talent. They've done it themselves as well, but to still have the opportunity that Jeff's allowed me to be involved is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to whoever's next in the pipeline to continue to evolve. I know Sanchez, if he's back again next year, which I believe to be, then I'll be there doing the same stuff. Chase as well.
All right. Go ahead.
Maxwell Donaldson, Gadsden Times. This is for Kyle. You mentioned Chase Purdy. What have you seen from him in his first year with KBM? And obviously, this is his home track. What kind of emotions go into running at your home track, kind of?
Yeah, if Talladega was my home track, I have no clue how to sort that one out. Man, that's a dreadful, that's a love-dread situation right there. But yeah, Chase is coming on board this year has been really good. I raced with him a few times back in super late models years ago, but his progression this year started out a little bit light, a little timid, just a little like don't want to crash anything, don't want to tear anything up, and then it was kind of like, dude, like let's go, don't worry about it, put it out there, put her in the wind. And I think we've kind of seen that the last 4 or 5 races that he's done a lot better. We've lost track position on pit road and put him behind, and going into the race we haven't made quite the perfect adjustments at each time to keep his track position per se, but no, he's getting better, and coming into Talladega, it's any man's show, so it's cool to see him on the pole. That must feel good to be on the pole for the your home event, but got to keep it there.
All right, we're going to go to Gwen, Steven, and then we're going to wrap with Lee. Go ahead, Gwen.
Thank you. Hi, Gwen DeRue with the Birmingham Times. In your strategic planning and looking ahead, are there any women that you're focused on or looking at for being involved with your team efforts?
With the race team, yeah, I mean, actually, the Toyota guys, they've got 4 of them
Yeah.
running at Keith Coons right now in the midget program. So you've got Jade, you got Taylor, you've got
Mariah Eid.
and Kaylee Bryson, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 4 of them over there, and then I know Chevy. We had one. What was the super late model? The girl. that-
Hendrick.
Yeah, Katie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hendrick.
Yeah. So there's a few out there. It's just a matter of continuing to evolve and get better and build themselves, see results and things like that. So definitely a lot of potential. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
All right, Lee, and then we'll get a mic to Steven up front.
Kyle, I just wanted to ask, you had 3 wins so quickly in your transition with RCR. Have the other teams caught up, or, why has there, I don't know, I guess when you were that good to start out with, we just expected it to continue. What do you need to keep putting up something in the W column?
Yeah. Trust me, I see it too. I think when we've had really good cars, I've just over-tried, and you used 2017, 18, whatever, when we were super fast all the time. Like, I always think back to the golden days. You could drive from the back of the field to the front of the field. You could make something happen, and I still feel like I can do that, and I can drive from the back of the field to the front of the field. But in reality, with this car and equipment and everything being so equal, talent being so equal, SMT data, everybody seeing it being so equal, it's tougher than ever to pass the guy in front of you. So I guess that's kind of been a bit of my demise, which is I don't feel like I can do as much as I want to be able to do. So me over trying has sort of hurt my racecraft, if you will, where I haven't been finishing, frankly. So with me in this next gen car, look at how many times I've spun out and crashed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid compared to what it has been over time. So I still got some work to do on figuring that out, but also just I'm a very non-patient person, so you got to show some patience in these races. They're long races, Last week in the first stage, pushing and literally then just telling myself, okay, forget it, back up, like, just let's finish this stage, and then swapping ends, you know what I mean? So, like, I just finished telling myself to just make it to the end of the stage, and I'm backwards. So, yeah, I don't know exactly, but we got to fix it. I got to fix it.
All right, we'll take our final question up front with Steven.
Steven Toronto, CBS Sports. This will be a question for Jeff. Jeff, when Spire started its Cup Series team, from the outset in 2019, you guys were very clear that you had a plan to build this team into something that was competitive and something that was consequential. Now we're 5 years into that, and you've reached that point. With these transactions between the Live Fast charter and now the acquisition of KBM, was that part of the original plan, or was this something that developed as you were trying to figure out how to take it to the next level over the next 5 years or so?
Well, I mean, it probably wasn't Live Fast / KBM, right? But yeah, I mean, look, in the office, it's like, I guess the way that we carry ourselves over there and the way everybody's talking is like, we're right on plan. We're not just like throwing it up against the wall. I mean, sometimes it may, appear that way, but, we're pretty deliberate in what we want to do, and we have the patience and the relationships, not only for us, right? I mean, we've done what we're doing, we've done for plenty of teams that are back there right now. And so, look, I think we're opportunistic when we can be, but as far as on our timeline, it's like we're probably on time competitively. I mean, as much as I think it's just our nature, right? You want to go faster and you want to finish better, every week. Even when we were in the back, we were, the races for 31st were as intense for us, as getting into the top 10. So that's really the only thing that gives me like, I guess, heartache or keeps me up at night. It's not the stuff we're kind of like talking about here. It's the stuff that goes on the racetrack, where, like obviously we wanted that 77 to be better this year, and that probably took 5 years off my life this summer, just trying to come up with ways that we could do that. So, I'm not sure if that answers all of that, but it's like really the only thing that I don't feel like we're on time about is the results for 2 cars.
And just as long as you mentioned the 77, do you have any idea what that's going to look like for 2024 yet, or?
Well, I mean, Yes and no. I mean, I think that'll come into focus here in the next few weeks, you know. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep giving that group all the tools and resources they need to finish this year strong. But we're working on it, you know. But we'll see.